yeah, for purpose is so personal, success is so personal, and I really invite people to look within themselves and really have an honest conversation with themselves, like, what is it that you actually want? Not what's going to make your parents proud, not what's going to outdo your siblings, not what's going to impress your friends, not what your hero does, not what you've learned from movies. What do you want to do? How do you want to spend your days? And really breaking it down to like the individual day. Like, how would the perfect random day go for you, Gabby? How would like in an ideal life, how would you spend your day?
Are you asking me, or is it rhetorical?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah, like,
I think I would. Well, I love recording these videos and like connecting with people, because recently with everything with lockdown and stuff, I've just felt like love being sociable and I've not been able to be sociable. So connecting to people and talking about the stuff that I love talking about, having a bit of time to like write a song without any idea of what it's going to be, just writing to write, and just like having good energy and like living like the spiritual kind of life. Like, just basically we like going for like walks with our staffs and stuff, which is like a big it's a big stick but it grounds you. If you hold it in your right hand and you walk with a staff, it grounds you in the same way as if you had no shoes on and you walk, and it grounds you. So connecting to nature basically and keeping on top of your energy, like these are types of things you do in your day, and people worry about how you're doing what you love, but I'll let you carry on and finish what you were going to say.
I was going to say that's a perfect example of that day that you've just described. Would £100 million in the bank or 100 million followers on Instagram change how you achieve that? So you're already a success, and it's recognizing that. Like, you're already doing what you want to do. You're already connecting to Mother Earth, to people in a way that feels right to you. And as someone listening, you might already be doing that too, and not recognizing that actually you're already a success. And to others, they might not be already doing that because they're chasing a dream of something else that they thought was going to bring them happiness. Have a look at how you actually want to spend your day, because if you want to spend your day the same way you've just described, or something similar, whether it just be with your dog or sat at a piano or with a paintbrush or driving a car around a track, like around a dirt track, like whatever it is that does it for you, are you going to achieve that by going and working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to pay for a big massive house that you can't really afford, to impress your friends, to impress your family, to get reward off your parents in terms of approval, or whatever it is that other people deem to be success? Is that successful for you and your life and what you want to do? And everyone's different. That's not me putting down someone who's chasing money for a higher goal. If you're chasing money for a higher goal and you know you've got to put a couple of years of work in to attain that, then that's amazing. Like, go for it. But I think for more of us than is playing this game, is actually we could just simplify life so much by going straight to the source of like, how do I want to spend my days? Not where do I want to be in 10 years? Like, how do I want to spend my days? And then just building life around that simple concept.
So one thing I was going to ask you as well is, when you are like worried about like say money and things like that, or even just in general, we can have our mindset, and our mindset can have a lot of negative self-talk, and it can say, oh, you're too old to do that, or you'll never be able to achieve that, you don't have enough time or money to do that kind of thing. What do you have any tips for someone of how to just get your mind out of the way, or do you need to retrain your mind to stop saying those things? Like, meditation can quiet it, but does it get rid of that negative voice? I'm asking you, what do you think?
I think it starts with awareness and recognition that our brain is just a thought making machine. That is just its job. It just creates thoughts. And that doesn't mean that those thoughts have a direct correlation with the reality in which we live. It's just thoughts. So whether that be, I'm ugly, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I don't deserve money, or that's for other people. All these things that we tell ourselves or that come up in our mind are just thoughts. And be able to recognize them as being just thoughts and letting go. And again, going back to the behavior, feelings, thoughts affect your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You've got to cut the link somewhere. So one like fascinating thing for me is, it's fascinating but it's sad at the same time, is someone like friends of mine, for example, working all hours to pay for a car on finance, to pay rent, to pay the bills, to pay for the latest iPhone, to pay for all these things. Then they also can't stop buying other things that they don't need, and buying presents for people to make up for the fact that they work so many hours and they don't get to spend the time with those people. And it's like, well, how do you actually want to spend your day with my family, with my and like my new family? Well, why on earth have you signed yourself up to all these hours work to pay for the car and finance that you only really drive to and back to and from working? And it's being able to let go of, oh, well, actually, I feel like I needed to buy the expensive car because of what other people would think about me if I had a shitter car. And it really, it doesn't matter what people think about you. B, people don't think about you. That's the main thing. People don't think about you. People are so busy thinking about themselves, because that's how we all operate. We're all thinking about our own life. We're not sat there thinking about other people's lives, but we think that everyone else is thinking about us and our life. Being able to recognize that and let go of it. I think that was I had a lovely little flash car when I sold the van, when I bought the van, and I sold the car for the van. And I remember driving away in this van, and all my like leather seats were gone, and all the like lovely lights on the dashboard were gone, and I was driving this like bowl of jelly because it was just empty in the back and weighed nothing, and the suspension was like that. And I was so much happier driving away from that forecourt with a big van with the promise of adventure and like knowing that I've taken an authentic step towards myself than I ever was driving around in a little flashy car.
Would you, if someone was like thinking about doing the van life, would you say, yeah, just fucking do it? Or would you like, do you have any like kind of, let me just warn you before you do that? Do you have anything like that? Or would you just say, go and do it, it's so worth it?
I mean, it just depends. Like, Instagram paints one picture and it is a different thing.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're okay with pooing in the woods, then go for it. If you're okay with letting go of all the material things, because you can't take everything with you. That's the thing. You've got to leave stuff behind. You've got to have an ability to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It goes back to that comfort thing, like we're so like wrapped up in like having our amenities all the time. And this is like the main thing I always get asked is like, what about the toilet? What about the toilet? And it's like, we're all human beings. Like, we all find a way to go to the toilet. Like, it's not like your whole life revolves around going to the toilet. So why it's like such a big worry is funny. Like,
but you didn't have the loo roll stress of lockdown then.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, go for a wee in the woods. Like, have a weeing in a bottle on a night time. Like, there's nothing flash about that. But actually, weeing in a bottle in the night, and then being able to open the door and listening to the birds and being in with nature, like that's a trade-off that's just, for me, it's a no-brainer.
And some of the views that I've seen in photos, guys, you need to go and check out Brad's Instagram. So where would they actually find your Instagram? Like what would they search for to find you?
Just Brad Jameston. Brad Jameston. That's my Instagram. That's where I post my van life stuff, music, everything, personal development, all that stuff's on there. Yeah.
Guys, you need to check it out. Like some of the views, you just and I bet even the starry nights as well. Like were the nights amazing? Like,
so we put the grass roof on the van, didn't we? That was like the first thing when I said, Dad, right, step number one is we're building like a decking for the roof, and he's losing his nuts with it a little bit in terms of stressing about the van. He's a builder, super talented, but he works in bricks and mortar, and it was like he was stressing about helping me with the van because it was a comfort zone.
Right.
And I was like totally the other way. Like I always approach things with like optimism first, and then deal with any negative things that arise secondly. And I need to have that mindset, and I think it's a great mindset to have to keep us moving forward and just having a more positive outlook. The older generation, and like my dad in particular, is a total opposite. Like he starts with the negatives before he'll make a decision. He'll start with a list of negatives of what could go wrong and why he wouldn't do that. And I think that holds him back personally. And I'm trying to like teach a dog new tricks in that sense with my dad. But yeah, it was funny that putting a roof rack on and putting grass on, and that was like the first thing we did before we'd done electrics or insulation or any homework on like water, how we'd keep water or just get the solar panels running. It was like, no, I want a decking on the top to put grass on the top so I can watch the stars at night. And that was like my yoga spot in the morning. Like,
really,
that's a bit about the van. Yeah,
that's nice. When you were like kind of traveling around the van though, do you feel then it kind of taught you loads about life, like those kind of lessons like going and pooing in the woods, you just managed to connect to nature loads more? And like, do you feel like just the lifestyle itself and having to let go of your comforts helped you really grow on your spiritual journey? It must have helped in ways.
100%. I mean, there's so many examples. One example is like the way people look at you when you are in the van, when they see you chilling by your van, by your home. Some people look with pure intrigue. Other people look with like being really inspired, and you can tell like you follow #vanlife on Instagram because you're loving it. And then other people like they really give you a dirty look, like really like look down the nose at you, and it's like it's just learning like not to take that to heart, and also not to let the other people looking more positively letting that go to your head. Like like anything, like my way of living isn't the right way. It's an adventure that I had to live for myself, to live out my own like childhood fantasy of being Tarzan. Like I had to go and experience that and get into the wild, and it fits with who I am, and it sort of sculpted mine and Sarah's future plans of a home where we want to buy some land and build some storage containers and build a home that's very nature based and outdoors. And maybe it would be like a home retreat where we're doing, it's like a workspace as well, but really just connecting with nature. And it's like sculpted the future. So it's been a massive impact on my life. The people you meet along the way as well, like driving through Morocco and just going through all the little villages in the deserts and realizing like there is nothing around here, but these people are just so happy, so happy, and it's crazy. Like it's such a world away from where we live, just over the pond. And there's so many things that I've learned from it that I don't think you necessarily have to learn from van life, but travel in particular is just opening yourself up to new ways of life, being able to let go of the idea that the way that you've always done it has to be the way that you continue to do it is so important, whether it in terms of like letting go of habits that don't serve us anymore, or just actually expanding and trying something new, but stepping into other cultures. And it's like washing your brain of like what you thought reality was. You thought reality was like this way, everything has to go this way, and then you go to Thailand and things are just completely different. The way of life is completely different. You don't have to go to Thailand, you go like to Spain, and in Spain it gets to the hottest part of the day, like 2-3 o'clock, and everyone goes to bed for a sleep. Like that's amazing. Like we are the only creatures on earth that fight sleep. If a cat or a dog or a wolf or a lion or an elephant, whatever, a lizard, they're tired in the day, they have a nap. And we think that that shows weakness within ourselves. So we drink loads of coffee. You're like, oh, like I'm getting tired. It's only 2 in the afternoon. I have to smash a coffee to keep me working and being as productive as possible. And it's like, listen to your body. And like Spain is so close, and like they've got it nailed. Like, oh yeah, it's really important to have that nap in the day. And that's just a small example of something that's shaped an entire culture. But for us, it's like having a nap at 2 in the afternoon. Like, is it lazy? Is it insane? Is it don't know what it is, but it's not for us. It's not for us Brits. But it doesn't matter if you're a Brit or you're a Spaniard. You're still a human being, and your biology is still the same.
That's like a really nice way as well to go back to the whole like trying to change your routine or trying to change the way you do things in order to get a different change out your life, and just breaking out of that same old, like, this is how it's always been done, so this is how it has to be done. And just kind of learning new ways to do things and being open-minded and trying new things. And then the changes you must get out of your life when you make physical changes like that must be unreal.
So what was your inspiration to